Well, here we are on Cricbuzz Live, maybe a few minutes earlier than we would have normally come because generally the first afternoon game tends to spill well into about 7:20, even 7:30. But such short work have Kane Williamson's men done of that Chennai total that we're here to assess that even before we expected. 8-wicket convincing victory on the back of a brilliant Abhishek Sharma knock, 75 or 50, and Rahul Tripathi doing exactly what Rahul Tripathi does. We talk about Tewatia things. I think Tripathi things will soon become a phrase in this tournament. Well, we've got a couple of changes coming for the next game, but even before we talk about that, we've got a change right here with a very good reason. We made a tactical super sub right here on Cricbuzz Live because the man who joins us, with all due respect to Joy, who stepped out for the moment, is Parthiv Patel. Parthiv, it's an interesting choice for you because you've been part of both the teams who are going to step out to play today.
In fact, I've been part of these all 4 teams which I've played today. It's Sunrisers, CSK, and all that. So yeah, just to be very much sure that I'm wearing blue and I'm supporting MI. So that's something that is the reason why I'm doing that. But yeah.
There you go. Have a look at that. Figures for Mumbai, figures for Bangalore.
The good thing is if you look at those numbers, Parthiv has not differentiated between those two lead franchises. The numbers are almost identical.
Yeah, that's something that I didn't know about this, but only good thing is that Mumbai has won 2. I've been part of that franchise where we won twice. That's the only change. But yeah, it'll be an interesting game today for Mumbai. I think just like what it was for CSK.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a moment. I think the big disappointment will be for the entire gargantuan Yellow Army, Harsha. 0-4 is certainly not looking good, but for much of that game, the result was never in doubt.
And you're absolutely right, 4-4, but without looking at any point that it could have been different. And today's performance especially, CSK has such a lot of goodwill and they've been a phenomenal franchise. Everybody's waiting almost for CSK to turn it around. CSK are in many ways a leading indicator for the strength of the IPL. They're a great franchise. But they never looked like they were in the game today. They stumbled their way through to 150. We did say at that point that 160 plus you desperately needed. But you look who's going to take the wickets. You thought Tikshana would do well at the top. Mukesh Choudhary, he's got games now. He looks promising. But who in that lineup is going to deliver the wickets? So still going back to Bravo, hoping he'll deliver at the end. He's at the tail end of his career. Chris Jordan, he comes every year. He's a wholehearted player. But on this track, there really wasn't anything for them. And it just showed you the way the Sunrisers batted, that what Chennai did was so below par. And I just love watching Rahul Tripathi play. I love his attitude. I love his approach. He's so wholehearted. And he just comes in and gets going. He's a typical IPL player, and he was fantastic today.
Yeah, we use the word busy, Parthiv, always to describe him, but it's hard to find another adjective. Brilliant, of course, you can talk about. But he's just, even in his body language, he's just almost rushing around there saying, I have to do something every ball. And he does it methodically.
I think just to add to what Harsha just said about the energy and the enthusiasm which he shows in IPL games, he does that in domestic games as well. Whenever he's playing for Maharashtra, having watched a lot of domestic games of Maharashtra as well, he plays exactly the way he's been playing IPL. So it doesn't differentiate in his approach, and that is the reason why I feel that it's not an alien condition for any uncapped player. If you're playing with same intensity in your domestic games and at IPL, then you are at ease. You know that these are the things I'm doing. It's not something which I have to do out of the box. So I think that is the reason why we see Rahul Tripathi succeeding and playing at different positions as well. KKR used him and opening 3, 4, 5 everywhere. Here at least he's got a fixed number, but I think that is the reason why I think he's doing really well.
Gautam, when I look at Rahul Tripathi, whether it's off the field or on the field, I just imagine Rahul Tripathi is at home. He's jumping out of bed. He's probably darting out of a door. He's jumping over a little car somewhere, a little dinky car over there. He's twisting around something. He's grabbing the toothbrush just to brush his teeth. He just seems to be that kind of bubbly guy doing everything. Yeah. If he wants a piece of chocolate from the fridge, he'll probably come and jump 6 feet to the fridge and open it. I have a lot of time for Rahul Tripathi as a player, but I'll tell you who I'm happy for today. And I'll be very honest. I wondered if time was passing him by, even though he's still such a young player. and that's Abhishek Sharma. Because as we discussed in the mid show, you watch what he's doing in domestic, and he went up to open the batting, and he used to get runs very quickly. But he didn't have a role for Sunrisers. We talked about Riyan Parag. He didn't have a role for Sunrisers all this time. And now that he's got his opportunity at the top, he made it easy for Williamson. He virtually finished the match himself. It's good to see these young players now coming up, but I hope now they stay with him in this role for a while.
Yeah, in fact, I'm glad, Harsha, you said it earlier. The same point Parthiv made about Rahul Tripathi. Parthiv, Harsha had said that about Abhishek Sharma, because initially I just threw a question out saying that is there a case for him to bat lower down the order or somewhere else? Firm answer came from Harsha. No, if he chooses to do that for his state side, why should, like Rahul Tripathi, he not play the same role here? And he's done it well.
Exactly, I totally agree with Harsha. Especially when you've got all of your runs at domestic level at certain position. Now you've been picked to play IPL because you've done well at that number, so you should get that number. And that is the only way you run so many. Played so many games for Punjab. And another good thing about this Abhishek Sharma is that you can see that maturity. You can see that playing through the innings, and that is the reason why he's leading Punjab as well. Punjab has a lot of experienced player, but he is leading Punjab in one day and T20. It shows that player has potential, he has skills, but he has that leadership quality as well. And that is probably the reason why Sunrisers has also shown faith in him. He did not have all these 3-4 good years, but they still waited for him. And domestically, I think whatever we've watched players, he was highly ranked player, not only for his skills but the way he handles himself on the field as well.
Yeah, we'll do probably a more in-depth analysis of everything that went right for Hyderabad and where Chennai go from here at the end of Super Saturday coverage. For now, there's another game to come. We just briefly gave you a glimpse of that. Bangalore versus Mumbai, match number 18. Mumbai, of course, have based themselves up the highway in Pune for a while, so that's where they're going to be playing almost like their second home for these few games. We've got some changes as far as the two teams are concerned. Let's go straight to Mumbai. And this is the changes Rohit Sharma mentioned at the toss. Jaydev Unadkat, we kind of predicted that when we were doing our preview to this game or looking ahead to this game, thinking that could be an option. But the other surprise is Ramandeep Singh coming in there. So both the all-rounders, the overseas all-rounders, Harsha, have made way. Daniel Sams and Taimal Mills. So only two overseas players. 1.5 if you count Dewald as a child.
When we were kids, when we used to go by bus, we used to have this 1 full 1 half ticket. So if you're a kid, you just pay half ticket. And he's still, in terms of international exposure, a half ticket. But tell me, here's a wager. If you had told anybody immediately after the auction that Mumbai Indians would take the field with two overseas players, one of whom was Brevis, I thought this was a wait-and-see season for Brevis, that he grows in the company of people and he's an investment for the future. But they've put him in. He looked good in the previous game, let's be honest. I don't think there's issues with the top six. But I know there's a concern with Sams that he's not converting BBL into IPL. It's a much larger story. A lot of BBL doesn't get converted into IPL, but he had all the numbers. You can see why they wanted him there. Timal Mills, I thought if there's no Timal Mills, there'll be a Riley Meredith. Maybe just see whether the extra pace of Meredith would work. But this is very clear statement. And I'm going a little longer on this because from the corner of my eye, I'm looking at Parthiv in that window. But this is a very clear statement saying, look, we will throw our young people in and see how they go. Because that's one of the things in this tournament, that the young players are doing so well. I don't know enough about Ramandeep. I know a little bit about him. I don't know enough. But clearly the issue for MI is, can you have a bowler batting at 7? And that is where you will test Ramandeep. Can he be the bowler who will bat at 7?
Yeah, well, one thing I can add to that is one member of his family, a cousin, Anmolpreet Singh, was part of the Mumbai setup while Surya was nursing that finger. So now Anmolpreet goes out, another member of the family comes in, his cousin Ramandeep. But other than that, in terms of that Daniel Sams type of role, that's the slot he has to basically fill in. Parthiv, tell us a little bit more about him.
I think I'm quite literally slightly surprised the way I think Ramandeep got a game here at batting at number 7. Just looking at Mumbai Indians' problems was bowling. So you would ideally wanted a bowler at number 7 who can bat. Ramandeep is a batsman who can bowl. he's a medium pacer. So that's something which has surprised me. I thought, yeah, Riley Meredith definite in place of, for me, in place of Daniel Sams, you could have chosen Riley Meredith, and in place of maybe Basil Humphrey or someone try and get a number 7 bowler who can bat, that is Arshad Khan or Sanjay Yadav. So batting was not a problem at all. I think if you look at MI's batting, Karen Pollard played only 5 or 6 balls in that game and they got runs, and till this Cummins onslaught came in, I think they were very much in the game. So I thought bowling was concerned. So instead of maybe try and strengthen the bowling lineup, they've gone for an extra batsman who can bowl a bit.
What I hope, though, Gautam, now we saw with CSK 3 down, and they looked like a team that was 3 down. I'd be very surprised if MI are saying, okay, we are 3 down, chalo try karke dekhte hain. Because sometimes you get to the stage and say, okay, what we did in the first 3 games is not right. Can we now start afresh and look if we're getting the right balance? But I don't know if this is the team that is going to go ahead. It strikes me as this is the team. Okay, let's try. Let's see if something comes out of it. So I'm a little concerned at MI. I mean, having said that top order, the top 6 might well go and make 180, 190 and win the game. But I'm a little concerned about the bowling. Parthiv is spot on. The issue was with the bowling, and you thought they might strengthen the bowling. Now, if Riley Meredith comes in, the question was who bats at 7. So they needed someone to bat at 7. Maybe Sanjay Yadav, the spinner, or maybe they thought, look, at night we need a quicker bowler. So maybe an Arshad Khan to bat at 7. So I'm a little concerned, but let's see. It's a big show of faith in Thampi and Unadkat and everyone. I get the feeling that Bumrah is a little alone there.
Yeah, and also let's remind you that the flip of the coin hasn't gone their way either. Mumbai will be batting first as Faf du Plessis won the toss. But just to try and get an insight into the camp, we heard Zahir Khan, of course, earlier on social media. They put out that little clip from MITV when he talked about each individual wanting to stand up. We are in the position that we are. It's up to every individual to stand up and show what they're made of. In addition to that, this is what Rohit Sharma had to say, and we'll bring Parthiv and Harsha into this. We don't need to panic, and I think that's also the words Zahir had used. Honestly, we talk about talent, potential, and everything in this room, but until we bring that desperation and hunger on the ground, oppositions are not going to hand us wins just like that. You're very right, no one's going to hand you a win. But Parthiv, this desperation, again, sort of echoes what Zahir said in the dressing room. Each individual that desperation has to be a cumulative desperation of each individual on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, this, looking at the side, till last year, the side was full of superstars. You had someone, coming in doing the job for you guys. Here, this is not the same kind of superstars kind of bowling lineup where they had pairs of Bumrah and Bondi doing the job for them. But here, they don't have that. But here, I personally feel that, looking at the Chennai setup and looking at the Mumbai's thing, Mumbai was always in that game throughout the games which they've played. First game, if that caught Harsha Patel, that would have been a different story. The last game, what Cummins had done has happened only twice in 15 years of IPL. So they were in that game till that game also. Even Rajasthan chase, it looked like they were going to cruise to 190. So there is no need to panic. At the same time, they needed someone to finish the job as well, and that is the reason why you see these words like desperation, you see the words like panic, because if you don't have points on the table, then you start to panic, you start to think, where is our first win? And that's when the murmurs goes around in the team itself. I've been part of teams where we've lost 5 games and 6 games. So that's when players start talking about when will we get our first point. So that's when the coach and captain and everyone's job is to tell everyone that, listen, there's no need to panic. We are in the game, but we need someone to step up and finish the job.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting in that lineup, I mean, I know RCB is playing too, but because of the composition, we're all talking about MI, is there's this big statement in favor of a Basil Thampi, right? Saying, right, we are backing you. We think last game you were 3 overs 15, we are backing you. Does this mean that they have told Timal Mills, not working for you, mate? Not working for you? Or are they going to say, once the tracks start to slow down a little bit, which we all think they will, that the tracks will grip a little, the moment they grip a little bit, we'll get you back. But I thought Unadkat was in the side for that the moment the tracks grip, Unadkat comes in, maybe Fabian Allen comes in. So I just wonder what the message that's gone out to Timal Mills is. I can understand with Sams. I mean, with both with ball and especially with bat in that game when soon after Tim David had got out, he just logged and got out. That would have been a bit of a disappointment. So yeah, let's wait and see. It's a very, very bold move.
It certainly is. But the real question also is in terms of the personnel. Before we go to the Bangalore lineup, quick word about the skipper himself. We all mentioned leading from the front today. Kane Williamson did it even without flamboyance. He just quietly kept Abhishek Sharma company. Now, Rohit Sharma is not in a position where he can afford to keep Ishan Kishan company. He needs to score a few.
Sure, definitely he needs runs. There is no doubt about it. But I thought, the approach to me, I think Ishan Kishan's approach was a bit surprising. I think he's got all these runs, or if you see his last year's couple of innings, he's gone out there and played fearlessly. Here he's trying to do the job, which is Rohit Sharma and Surya Kumar can easily do it. So I think Ishan's job is to probably go out there and watch the ball and play the kind of knock we know what Ishan Kishan do. But yeah, without a doubt, I think Rohit Sharma would be looking to get runs. There is no doubt about it. I think he needs to just give himself a bit of time. I think we've seen him getting out to that pull shot far too many times, whether to spinners or fast bowler. Maybe try and get the gauge of the wicket, because these wickets are not easy. If you look at this Pune wicket or any wicket you are playing, those are two-paced wicket where it is seeming a bit initially. And Rohit Sharma, we've seen how well he can play in Test cricket as well. So this is all about going through this first couple of overs, and then we can see what Rohit Sharma can do. And to me, this IPL is all about keeping wickets in first 6 overs. Even if it's 40 for one, I think the teams have gone on and won games. It's not that you need 55 or 60, but if you lose in process, if you lose say 2 or 3 wickets, then there is very little chance of coming back into the games. And the runs are also scored in last 5 overs. Also, if you look at, there have been 70 runs have been scored consistently if you had wickets in hand. So I think first 6 overs are crucial for Rohit and Ishan, I think.
Yeah, Harsha, as Parthiv was talking about a wicket keeper in the power play, going hard, scoring his runs fearlessly. One more name came to mind, and he's sitting with us.
That was his role. That was his role. Go hard in the power play. And I mean, it's a role that works when you've got deep batting lineups. Parthiv was far too good a player just to be a slogger in the power play. But that role works if you back your batting down to 7 and tell one person power play is yours. You go and do what you want. But he makes a point about finishing at the end. And I'm just looking at today's game. After 5 overs, Sunrisers are 24. After 5 overs, 24. And after 17.4 overs, they're 155. So in the next 12 and odd overs, they were 130 runs. So once you get in this IPL, there's a lot of runs to be had, but it's a brave move. So maybe just the fact that they've got someone like a Ramandeep who's got a reputation of going for it, maybe the plan today is let's just go and put 180, 185, back Pollard to bowl 2 overs, back Tilak Verma to bowl 1 over, and say, okay, Ramandeep's overs, the 2, if we can give 2 or 3, between them, we will bowl sort of 5, 6, 7 overs, So maybe that is the plan. But all the Bangalore people watching will be saying, excuse me, we are playing 2.
I was going to say that. I'm glad you reminded me yet again of it. But it just so happens when a team, I mean, we did that a bit with Chennai as well. But in that case, both teams were in a bit of a pickle. For now, it's Bangalore very much playing this game. They've won the toss. They've asked Mumbai to bat first. And they've also gone for one change, which was not a no-brainer. Anyone would have picked this one. Straight swap. In comes Glenn Maxwell, the big show. Everyone's been talking about it. They've not touched the rest of the team at all. And it just shows when you have a couple of wins, when you know things are settled. Parthiv, they've been just waiting for Glenn Maxwell to come and fill in that little gap.
Yeah, I think before the tournament started, they would have been thinking, we're playing 3 games. Let's try and get a couple of wins before Maxwell comes into play, and that's exactly how that happened. And probably yes, I think DK and Shahbaz played an outstanding knock in the other day. But yeah, that's something which they would be looking at, and it gives them that bowling option also. They have Shahbaz and Maxwell. That becomes the 7th bowling option for them. So it just gives them that luxury to attack initially. When you know that you have options behind you, just like when you are batting, if you have options behind you in bowling as well, then you try and think attacking. You don't try and think defensive. You try to look to get them out. But yeah, I think Maxwell is something they would be looking at, and they would be hoping also that Maxwell has a good season as well, because we've seen with him, he's had a one good season with Punjab, then five years of nothing. Here, they would be looking at consistency. But yeah, I think it gives a lot of freedom to Duplessis, Virat Kohli, and Anuj Rawat as well initially, that they have someone who's proven, someone who likes that dressing room, someone who likes that vibes of the captain and the coach and everything. So yeah, the numbers are there, 144, and if you averages like that in this tournament as well, RCB would be really happy.
They bat very deep. Just watch how they're a fabulous chasing side. Just they're structured to chase, because you see even DK can float, Shahbaz can go up. Hasaranga can bat, Harshal Patel can bat. I mean, he comes in so many times and he'll give you 9 of 5, 10 of 6, or 10 of 4 at the end. But again, much like Abhishek Sharma today, Harshal Patel knows what it is to go up the top of the order and score runs too. But David Willey is a top order basher, so he can come in and score runs down too. So it's a side that bats very deep, has got bowling options. I think Mumbai Indians batting first will need a big score on the board.
Yeah, and not every day, Parthiv, will they need to, or will they want to go down to, well, as they played, Dinesh Karthik and Shahbaz to be rescuing them. I mean, that happened. They did it well, and now they want to make sure that the big guys do it with the big show in the lineup.
Yeah. See, ideally, you want your, the 1, 2, and 3 to, bat till 17th, 18th, or someone to get 70, 80, or 100 as well. That's an ideal T20 scenario, where someone bats deep, and then all your bashers or all your, big hitters, just play the way they know how to play at the other end. That's how, everyone would want their game to start. But I think David Willey can bat, as Ashabhai rightly pointed out, and that could be the reason why we might just see positive RCB right now. Here we might just see a bit circumspect when you start with Anuj Rawat getting almost ball a run, or Virat Kohli takes time. Faf's also slow starter. So now today I think we might just see with Maxwell coming in, with David Willey batting at 8 or wherever he's been floating around, RCB might just be very, very positive today.
Actually, I have a suggestion for Parthiv. Anybody who comes in on the Cricbuzz panel goes back to the IPL and does well. Robin has gone back. He scored that classy 50 the other day. DK is going back, finishing games. So maybe we should give him on loan to one of the franchises and say, go.
Yeah, they've all been practicing. I haven't touched bat for 2 years now, so I don't know.
You just need the tag. Cricbuzz Live, and it puts the fear of God in the opposition. Quick one to finish with. Mumbai will look at a target bowler in all possibility. Bangalore have a much more settled-looking bowling lineup. Mumbai need to put 30 runs extra on the board. Akashdeep, who's been taking wickets, but was looked at a potential weak link when the season started. So he surprised everyone. 4 wickets in 3 matches. Could he be the one Mumbai really go hard after? Harsha?
Yeah, I think that he would be the bowler that they would be looking at. They would be looking at spinner. They would be looking at probably David Willey and Shahbaz Ahmed as well. If need be. But just if you look at Akashdeep's numbers, yes, economy is 11 point something, but if he's gone on to take crucial wickets. But yeah, that's usually the game plan is when you look at opposition's bowlers and you try and put them under pressure. So if you put a couple of bowlers under pressure, then then pressure comes on the main bowlers. Harshal Patel, they have a pattern of bowling Harshal Patel at certain overs. But if you put Akashdeep or David Willey or Shahbaz Ahmed under pressure, you might just see Harsha Patel bowling out of the position, and that's exactly what you try and do as a team. You try and force a batter to force him to bat the way he doesn't want to bat, and same way you try and do at Harsha Patel, your main bowler. That's what happens with Mumbai Indians. They try and put pressure, so they have to bring on Jasprit Bumrah, and exactly what Harshal Patel has been doing the job for RCB. So that might be the plan today.
Well, this is with the Mumbai batsmen out there, the familiar pairing of Ishan Kishan, Rohit Sharma, but the numbers they don't want to see is 0 and 3, which became 0 and 4 for Chennai earlier in the afternoon. On this pitch, final thought from both you gentlemen. Harsha, I'll come to you first. The danger is, you're obviously saying, let's blow the opposition out. We've got an extra batting option as well. But you've got to also consider the surface. What would Mumbai look at? What are we looking at in terms of a prediction?
Look, I'm looking at what Deep Das Gupta said in the pitch report, where he says has helped fast bowlers sporting layer of grass, pace and bounce. Batting first may not be that bad an idea. Now the way Mumbai have structured their side, they've got to get a big score. I'm going 187.
You've got Ajay Jadeja's number.
Huh?
Yeah,
Ajay was stuck to 187. Yeah.
Ajay is always 187, is it?
Yeah,
he's always
183,
187.
and with inflation now 187 for this season.
I'm going at 181.
181. Well, Mumbai really have to go for it this time. So I think it's all hands on deck. Can I go a little higher? Why not? Let me just go for it. 196. 196. 196. Totally throwing
What's
it
been
all
your
in the
track
deep
record,
end.
Gautam? I'm now starting to get worried.
Yeah.
What? You mean reverse?
Yeah, I mean, the higher you go, I'm now starting to get worried about your track record.
Okay, that's okay.
Have you won?
No, the last one you won.
I mean, I know you win when you pick the right teams, but
No, I had a phase when I was doing okay with conservative totals. I've won much more low bowling than I have with high bowling. But this time I've just decided to be a little generous.
Okay.
Do or die for Mumbai and everyone to contribute and something to kick off a little bit of a spark. That's all we have on this crossover show between the two games. Of course, more to analyze on that Chennai Hyderabad game and this one as well when it finishes. We will be there in the 10th over of Mumbai's hopeful onslaught for Mumbai fans. That's Cricbuzz Combox and much more to come after that. For now, from Parthiv Patel, Harsha Bhogle and myself, that's all on Cricbuzz Live.